Hi, Gila. How's it going?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So I wanted my students to meet you because
Okay.
yesterday we had a very interesting conversation. And could you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you came here to the craft shop at the Y?
All right. So the last 4 years, I live nomadic life on the road. I live in a minivan, and after 2 winters of traveling in the winter, I decided that it's not for me anymore because that put me in the kind of the warmer state, but those are too brown state for me. I love the mountains. I love the snow. Um, so after I sold everything I own and donated most of my belonging, I have only my minivan to my name, and so I'm working with much even smaller budget. So the solution of working seasonal jobs in the winter just worked perfectly for me. Yeah. So I'm staying warm. I don't live in my minivan in the winter. I took the housing in the YMCA.
Wonderful. Very interesting. And why did you decide to join the craft shop? Yesterday you mentioned you are an artist as well.
Yes. So I saw an application for art instructor, and just perfect for me because I am an artist. I have different mediums that I work with. I'm a graphic designer, I'm a color designer, and home designer. Um, for many years I was a faux finisher and muralist. I'm probably still is a muralist. The faux finish is much more complex, and after many years of not exercising it, I will leave it to someone else. And then I came here, and the second day they put me in the glass fusion. And literally, all I can say is like I melt with the glass. All my skills just came together, like I always was part of. That was always part of my life. So um, today I'm here to find my voice in glass fusion and see how I made pendants. And I was here in the summer, um, and I made pendant as gift for my friends, and people start asking me if I'm selling it. So I was shocked a little bit. So I made a small presentation case, and as I was traveling in Colorado and going back home to the New York State on the border of New Jersey, I stop in galleries, I stop in gift shop and museums shop, and I have few interests. So I don't know. I really don't know where. Today is life is very unknown, and I try to flow with that.
Nice. Could you show us what glass fusion looks like and some examples, or just give us a little demonstration?
Yeah. So my some of my work is in the kiln right now. It is not ready. It's still cooking, but I can show you other people example. Um, So there is two kind of glass fusion. There is the tack, when glass is, you think about it as gluing to each other, keeping the essence of the shape of the glass, and you can feel the texture. You can feel it's smooth. The kiln, the heat smooth the edges, but you get very much a texture feeling. And then you have, and that's my favorite, is the full fusion, when glass melt to each other. And you can see it's very smooth, and it's quite, for me, more shinier. Um, and that's where I usually make most of my pendants, or in the full fusion. I feel it's a beautiful, beautiful lesson for life of letting go, because you create something and you put in the kiln, and the heat is just playing. I call it my dance with the kiln. So um, that's the two. I mean, like sometimes you can add, if you have more days, you can slump, so you can put it in a mold that create this kind of a shape, but that need more than one day. And that's really much glass fusion. It's wide and open to your imagination and your ability to be patient with the tools and what you want to create.
And it's an interesting metaphor that you said in terms of it symbolizing life and letting
Yes.
go. So
Yeah.
you made a really big transition by, selling your apartment and going nomadic.
Yes.
What was that decision like? Was it difficult? Was it easy?
Uh, I think I will say my personality is, the moment I make a decision, I just go full into it, no matter what. Like I realized actually at the end of the first year that the word failure is not part of my vocabulary. Because no matter what I approach, whatever what I do, I can always learn a great lessons for it, even if it's not working. There is so much information in the no. The N and the O is just, for me, those are two words that open actually a wider windows and doors to something else that I can try. So there was nothing for me to think that I actually losing. There was only opportunity for me to learn. And I injured my back a few years ago, and I lost two passion of mine, backpacking, and I was a volunteer ambulance driver to my town. And I just didn't want to wait until something else will go break it down in my body before I try to give myself a dream come true. So again, no one guarantee. I have two options, right, in life. I can sit on my sofa and dream about a life, or I can take the chance with no guarantee and see where it takes me.
And how has it been? So you've been doing it for a few years now. Has what's been the experience for you?
No, it's where I belong the most. It is just unbelievable. This is here, like even here that it's very quiet, there is still noise for me that I don't get when I'm on the road. There was always a feel for me that I born in the wild. I cannot explain it, but when I'm in the wild, I'm the wildest that I can be. And I'm like just, there is a pure joy and belonging that I cannot get anywhere else. So.
And some people might find it difficult to move around so often, to pick up your things, to pack and unpack. Do you, so you feel, I get the sense you feel comfortable. It seems like it's in your nature to move around, to explore, and you like nature. Have there been moments where that part is difficult, or is it exciting each time to go to a different place?
So my son was telling me at one point, like, I don't think I can do whatever you do because you know, I need that one place. I said, but I have my one place. I have my minivan. I have everything I need in one place. I just moved the location. But the moment I went into the road and the moment, like 3 months into my journey, I start a conversation with myself. Because that's the beauty of me on the road. I can be the driver and the passenger in the same time, willing to, as long as I'm really like willing to be open and raw with myself, the result is beautiful. I can really get to understand who I am. Now, I do read a lot about emotions and feelings. Um, I Brené Brown is a very good source if you ever want to learn about emotions. She's a fantastic teacher, and there is a lot of information there. My other spiritual teacher is Pema Chadram. So I do listen a lot to what I can learn about myself and others. And there is challenges, no matter what I'll do. It's not like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Like, you know, you see all those videos around. Like, I think it's not fair to picture that. It is not an easy life. Everything takes 3 to 4 times longer. I just love it. So I don't think it's for everyone. You really need to be fully in love with it. Yeah.
That makes sense. And you were working on something earlier today. Could you show us a little what that is?
Well, I'm just making dots.
Okay.
Nothing much. So that will go into the full, and all those those actually will become in the end. So the heat will shape them into dots.
Okay.
So this is like someone else. I saw it here, so I just broke it and I put it this way. So that's what I'm doing actually here. I'm taking all this scrap and I will put it over here, and then it will melt and it will create a sheet of that. Then I break it and I will put it standing this way. So now the glass is melting this way. And I wish I can show you what's the result, but no, we still have time. It's not ready. But it's a beautiful result because all those colors will melt into each other and just create a beautiful pendant. So They're try to introduce those into the jewelry and see what we can do with that. So I like the idea of like taking and recycling and see what else is coming out of it. Um, so
That's really nice. You're taking something that would have been trash and creating something new and beautiful.
yes,
And yesterday you also mentioned that you started writing, right, as
yes.
part of your journey. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, that's I call a treasure box I found inside of me because I really cannot explain it. Um, I truly cannot explain it. I think I mentioned it to you yesterday, and it does sound crazy, but it felt like absolutely a voice outside my soul forcing me. I cannot use any other word by forcing me to write and to share. I love my private life, but so I did start writing. I did start sharing in a Facebook group and in my blog. The Facebook group are private, so it's not like very, very quickly, I got response from a lot of women. You're my favorite new writer. I'm like, who are you talking about? Like, really? And encouragement. It took me 8 months to come to, okay, you've been telling me all these comments about turning my writing to a book, and I did. So that's where the graphic design came in. And if I had to pay for someone, those books would never. And I write to myself. I write to myself. It's a raw and open journal of my life on the road. And I find a lot of lessons in nature, and I share it. So it's really the way, the world through my eyes, and anyone is welcome to read it and see if they find a message that inspired them to push further. Because that's what story is. The stories that came before me are the one that put me on this road. The book Wild by Cheryl Stray was a huge inspiration for something that I was terrified of doing, backpacking. But it was always something that I was dying to do, and it was terrified me. I was like paralyzed by that fear. And I will say 4 or 5 months later, after I read the book, again, I made a decision. I trained. I read books about the White Mountains in New Hampshire. Um, and I just found myself, I think it was September 17th, by myself in a state I never visit, a trail I never been, terrain I never experienced with my backpack, and very, very empowering transformation. And I think that was one first step that helped me to do things that above what I think is my ability. And the more I push myself, I learn that I can do more. And I have the experience to fall back of like, I did that. So today I let fear just be a guide, be next to me. I don't push it away. I try to understand. I very much learned the difference between my intuition and my gut feeling and the fear. When I have my intuition, I don't argue with it. I right away take myself from the situation. When I have fear, I try to push myself a little bit further. And it's always build up. And someone asked me a good question. How do I defer the difference between them? I learned it's called IFS. It's a internal family system. And I learned there that all of us have different parts in us. And all those parts are here to protect us. So when I have my gut feeling coming and screaming at me, all my parts are like aligned together and telling me, abort, get out of the situation. When I'm afraid, there is that little part of me, that little Gila, that just say like, go ahead, you can do it. Even though all the rest of the part telling me to go away, there is that little part of me that encourage me to push forward. And every time I do, it just builds up, but it's slow. I'm not pushing too hard.
That makes sense. And one way you're doing that is you mentioned you're writing in English, which
Yes.
at first it was a little scary.
It's I mean, you can hear I have the accent. So I born in Israel, and I came here 37 years ago. And yes, as I say, I never read actually in Hebrew or read in Hebrew. I have learning disabilities. This is why it's like how it's even happening. Uh, but there is something in the English language, I don't know, that the moment I came here, I just felt so belong here more than actually in my own country. So I'm able to express myself in English in a way that I cannot explain to you. Really, I just can't. It just come out. Uh, but it's been a very interesting. So my English improved dramatically, and I'm not kidding dramatically when I say when I start writing, and you can actually consider the process from my first book to my second book, and probably for my third. I think from the second to the third is kind of the same, staying pretty much the same. Um, but I write. The way my process is really I talk to my phone while I'm in nature. That's where the most I can connect to myself, and that's the most I can come with my emotion as they are pure to me. Um, I come and I sit down in front of my laptop and I have Grammarly, the paid version, um, and I let that help me. I found that it's not pure perfect. And my next editor is ChatGPT. Now, after 3 years of using it, I trained it to listen to my instructions. So I'm very much asking it to keep my voice, not to defer from my message, and just help me with grammar, help me with enemy spells. Um, so it will give me like, he, right away he will tell me like, oh, it. I mean, it's still machine. Tell me like, um, give me it's a suggestion, and I will ask it, okay, show me what you change, show me why you change it so I can learn for it. So it's a great tool for me. I found like amazingly, but I still don't trust that, and I let my friend do the final editing. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, that's quite an endeavor. People would be intimidated by it, but I find learning a language is best learned by doing it. So
Yeah.
you're putting that into practice each time you're getting feedback, you're fixing it, tweaking it, but keeping your own voice, your own style. And you've had the experience of living in Israel, learning English in Israel, and then coming to the US. And how, how would you describe your language learning process and what made the biggest difference for you?
So first of all, I thought when you learn English in Israel, and so I came here and I thought like I know English. Well, it did not feel like that at all. It just was a different way of learning from book when you don't really practice it as much and not in a language and not in the country that speak that language. I don't think no matter what, I don't know if it's like always will be a perfect way. So we came here, we traveled, and there is a tradition in Israel. You finish army and you go travel. And that's me and my boyfriend did. And we came here. Then we loved it very much and we tried to see what is America is about. So we went to do second language, English as a second language. And after a while, the teacher was very much like, okay, you had enough. I cannot teach you anymore. And I was like, no, I'm definitely not where the place I want to be. I need more. And she said, read, 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 read. And that's where the big transition really started. And what I did, for the first year, I will borrow from the library books on tapes. So I will listen to the book while I'm reading it. So I was able to see the pronunciation, I will see the words. And I think that's a lot, as someone that have learning disability, especially with dyslexia, really helped me to have the vision and the hearing together and make the most of. So since then, I read every night, and that's really, really helpful.
So it just became a part of your routine, your life.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a really great tip.
Yeah.
My students, some of them are abroad in other countries, so they don't have practice with native speakers. And then others are expats living in the US. But a lot of them share a common fear of making mistakes or they're afraid of speaking to native speakers.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give? You seem very comfortable to just do your own thing.
Yeah.
Is it that comfortable or what advice?
It took a while. I think that's the beauty of my nomadic life. That journey, it's been an incredible spiritual journey and self-discovery and self-healing in a way that I finally came to a place where I actually love myself. I never knew about. I heard about it, never knew the concept. Tough childhood. The 50 years was tough. So now I'm like, but the past is really for me is like was opportunity to build resilience and be able to live the life I am today. So in the end of the day, I am grateful for this resilience, and I learned to melt a lot of the layers of trauma off of me. And so now that I feel so comfortable with myself, and it is what it is, that's my language. And my dear friend is like, I forget how they call it, but they call it like Gila language. And they found it very charming. And it is what it is. I cannot change it. I can be the only thing I can be is myself. And whatever language level English I have, it is, again, and people are kind. If anything I learned for this journey, that most of us are such a kind people and acceptance, and just let it be. People understand that, especially when you have an accent. They can see you from a different country, and they will help. I have no doubt about it.
Wonderful, thank you. I think that's a great example for my students, and they'll really appreciate it. So thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you sharing
Yeah.
your art and then your approach to language learning as well. I think it's really helpful.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, excellent.